Football Manager kindly gave me access to the alpha version of FM24, so I'm going to showcase what a season in the new game is like with my hometown club Plymouth Argyle, and yes, you can now design your manager to have an eye patch. Plymouth Argyle playing the Championship this season after winning League One and gaining promotion last season. And both the supporters and the board have expectations to stay in the Championship this season, to build in the future and to be competitive in the Cups. We've got a couple of injuries at the start of the season, including goalkeeper Mike Cooper, but overall we have a very well-rounded squad with some talented players. Barley Mumba is arguably our best after making a permanent move to home park after a successful loan spell, and he plays naturally from the left-hand side of the pitch, but no doubt about it, he's a fantastic squad player. Morgan Whittaker is another great attacking option who will hopefully help us score a lot of goals. Some other key players are the loan signings as well as Callum Wright and Ryan Hardy. By the way, I have to mention that I have changed the settings and zoomed in to 150% to help me see the names better, and especially for you guys watching on a mobile. Now, tactically, I'm not the strongest in FM. However, a good friend of mine has also got alpha access, and tactics are kind of his speciality. So I asked him. Now, collaborating with RDF Tactics wasn't just because I'm tactically incompetent. In fact, it was more 50-50. Alright, 60-40. It was in fact because he has also got access to the alpha build, and of course, he is going to be focusing more on the tactical side of things. The new things that are implemented into FM24, and I thought it would be a nice way of introducing what he can produce, so you can go over and have a look at his video after you've watched this one and enjoy some stuff and some knowledge that he can bring you about this game and the new tactics system. And this is the tactic that RDF produced for me, specifically for Plymouth, in this one season that we're doing in the Championship. Now, it did take me by surprise because they are very much used to playing a 3 at the back with wing-backs. That's how this team is basically set up to begin with. So it was actually a nice surprise to see something different to what I was expecting. It's a 4-2-3-1, but we've got 2 DMs instead of centre midfielders. We've got a pressing forward on support. I like that, to be fair. We've got Ryan Hardy, who's really good in that role. He likes to beat the offside trap, so that's a good thing for him, I believe, because he's quite good in that role naturally. The advanced playmaker on attack, we've got a few players who can play that role. And the inverted winger on attack, I like Morgan Whittaker in that role. I think he'll be really better suited to that. The inside forward on attack, on the other side, we've got Barley Mumba, who can play that role really well. Deep line playmaker on support, the anchor in defence. We've got wing backs, ball playing defenders, a sweeper keeper. It's a balanced mentality, so let's take a look more at the instructions. Underlapping with shorter and standard tempo, running at the defence, not complicating things too much, to be honest, but with a very narrow attacking width. Interesting. We're passing into space. In transition, we are counter-pressing, but we are not countering. It's not even gegenpress. This is amazing. Distributing the ball quickly through rolling it out. And out of possession, we've got a high press with the high line of engagement there, but the standard defensive line, but only a standard trigger press, preventing the short kick, goal kick distribution, and getting ourselves stuck in. So this is the tactic that he's produced me. I'm really excited to see how we can do, but of course, we got some set pieces to have a look at too. No, there currently isn't a set piece coach at Argyle, which of course is the new featured staff role, so I'm going to try and sign one for the first team, focusing mainly on set piece coaching, which makes sense, and tactical knowledge, and eventually we find a man who might be interested at AFC Wimbledon. So let's try and sign him and lock in that he has to be a set piece coach specifically, and I don't want to mess around too much with negotiations. Let's just give him what he wants. Before he signs, let's talk about our chances for the season, because the league preview sees us as one of the favourites for relegation this year, so we're up against it. Frustratingly, the board blocked us from signing a set piece coach, and I had to make a request, which was accepted for once, for us to sign one. So I had to go back and make the offer for Rob Tuvey again. Thankfully accepted, we got our set piece coach. So let me show you how easy it is to set up set pieces using the new set piece system. You can see at the top here, you have the option for set pieces, and as you've seen on the screenshots, etc. before, you can select whatever you want. So I want to go hybrid. I want to have fullbacks on both posts. I kind of like both posts. Let's go near posts. I just want one on near posts. I want to counter attack. Plymouth Argyle are quite fast in some of their players, so I think that's quite good. How do you prefer the ball to be delivered from attacking set pieces? I'm going to stick to my roots and go with near post. Again, how many players do you want to leave back defending during attacking set pieces? You can stay high and have fewer defenders, defend transition, have more defenders, or a bit of both, and I'm going to go for a bit of both there. How do you want it to be swung in? In swinger, out swinger? I like the outswing, I think, on Football Manager is quite good for that. So as you can see, Rob is now going to do some routines for me. Now, the defensive one is selected like this, so it's left 2 players up there, which you can then obviously collect or select who you want up there up front. But if you go on attack, we can see the new set-piece routine. Now, it's awkward for the minute because remember, there is now a familiarity on how well the team will actually do with this, and they need, just like a tactic, to be practicing these set pieces. So I haven't gone through and selected my aerial threats and everything yet, but if you click here, you can see exactly who is going to be your aerial threats, and you can move it around however you wish, etc. Or you can even ask your assistant to sign that. So you can see our routine here on the side, but you can also add extra routines, create new routines. Now, if you do far post or near post, outswing, it tends to probably be the same routine as far as I'm aware. It might be different if you have like higher class set piece coaches, but for this level, let's try something different, and you can go short outswing, in swing. So I want to see what it's like if you do a short in swinger, because that's obviously going to change what the dynamic of what we're going to look at now. So you can also, once you've added an extra routine, edit the set piece frequency. So if you want to see the routine number 1 more often, you can do that with the short one going less often, so it's less predictable. And that's what I thought was quite a nice little addition there, because of course we don't want to be completely random and then obviously have too many of it going short. So let's go with that. Okay, so you can see now the different routines on the right hand side here, and it gives you different options for selecting that. So we've now got our creative players who are coming short. There's another player there who's going to lurk outside, with our attacking players set to be in the box, whereas usually they would be attacking the near post here, because that's what we've gone for. That's the new routine. So this, I'm a big fan of this so far. Everything that I'm seeing, I'm liking. Now, I didn't focus too much on the transfers, just bringing in one midfielder on a freebie to help the squad out. And eventually, the first game of the season was upon us against Huddersfield at home, which we were able to field a strong lineup against Huddersfield, with Hardy, Mumba, Azaz and Whittaker leading the front 4. Huddersfield are, of course, candidates to also be relegated this season, so straight away it's a game we need to be winning and definitely can't afford to lose, especially at home park. But half-time came with neither side being able to score, and we were hoping for a bit of brilliance in the second half from the team in green. And that's exactly what we got, just 7 minutes after the break, when Kessler Hayden beat the defender with a drop of the shoulder and curled the ball into the far corner. What a goal that was, and he was involved in the second, which came just 10 minutes later, this time scored by our other fullback, Edwards. Again, great finish. And there was a third goal in the game, and once again, it was the man of the match, Kessler Hayden, who stabbed the ball home. Great start to the season, but there's a lot of tricky games in the Championship to come, including Watford, who we managed to pinch a draw from with a late penalty, even though we kind of dominated the game. Which was also the same result in the following fixture against Southampton, where Ryan Hardy finally got off the mark with his first goal of the season, but the newly promoted team played well and got an equaliser, unfortunately due to some bad defending on our part. Next up was Birmingham, and we got the only goal of the game with a back post header from our own Whittaker, giving us a good start to the season, unbeaten after 4 games, sat in 7th place as the transfer window closed. Mike Cooper was also back from injury in that away match to Birmingham, and in that first match, he picked up man of the match. September started with another win against Blackburn at home and another goal from the overlapping right back Edwards. And before half time, with Whittaker missing with a slight knock, Bundu came in at right wing, who set up another goal for Ryan Hardy. We only had one more home game this month against Norwich, and it was won by a single goal, again this time from the youngster Izaka, who I bumped up to the first team as a 17-year-old to get some valuable minutes. But outside of those 2 games, it was not a good month, with 2 losses to Bristol City and Hull and a draw to Preston. Still just outside the playoffs though at this early stage, which is not bad for a relegation candidate team. We couldn't capitalise against 10 men Millwall at home, and the game ended 0-0, with a similar story against Swansea too. In fact, the only win we got was against Sheffield Wednesday, with Whittaker getting an extremely early goal. We played very well in this game, to be fair, and deserved the 3 points. And the third goal is an absolute delight to watch, as it showcases our new short corner set-piece routine that we concocted at the start of the season. Which, as you can see, the familiarity of the set-piece routines has increased to good, and the team should be able to put the routines into good effect now. However, that really was the only positive in October, with 2 losses to West Brom, who were bottom, and Ipswich. And that sees us slip down to the bottom half of the table. November started with Middlesbrough showing us a corner routine of their own, and a beauty of one as well. But not to be beaten, we fought back, and Morgan Whittaker smashing in a cracking equaliser, and very late into the match. We remained patient, and our build-up was eventually found an opening for Bundu to snag a winner. And that gave us the momentum as we went on and defeated Leeds 1-0 at Ellen Road through Whittaker once again. And what a month that is, and didn't we just need that? Another draw to Sunderland and a big win against Coventry with Mumba taking home the match ball. And somehow in 4 games we shot up from 15th to 6th place. The championship is crazy. But our run didn't stop there, as Whittaker was once again at the forefront of another win as he sets up Bundu to beat Stoke 1-0. We then went to Leicester and fell behind in the first half after not being able to clear our lines from the corner, but we remained confident, stayed in the game, and all in the second half, eventually we got the half chance we needed to take a point away from home. But 3 points on the road is even better, and Ballymumba grabbed a winner at QPR. And Ryan Hardy had a whale of a time when Rotherham came to visit home park down in the south. The Scottish striker was clinical, as were the whole Argyle team really, and we got back to kicking into gear now as Hardy got a hat-trick in a 6-0 win. And it was back-to-back man of the matches for Ryan Hardy as we beat Birmingham at home next. And you wouldn't believe it, but this win against Cardiff at the Cardiff City Stadium has us at top of the championship. Overtaking Southampton, of course, we played next. And did we beat them? No, they scored a banging goal. The only goal of the game, which knocked us off the top spot in the last fixture of 2023. But we haven't had some journey already this season, and there's still 21 games to play in the league. The tactic, now that the players are familiar, has been superb, and the goals mainly been coming from midfield, with Whittaker as the top scorer this season so far with 11. But Joe Edwards, for me, in the right back row has been outstanding for us this season. We kicked off the new year with another win, but maybe a lucky one, with this being the only goal of the game. But it must have been boring as an Argyle fan in January, because there was only 3 goals scored in 4 games and another loss to West Brom. But we are still clinging on to that second place spot. We only suffered 1 defeat during February against a very good Sunderland team. And once again we beat Leeds, who as a newly relegated team in the division have some of the best players in the league and have far bigger budgets than what we have. February looked to be difficult, but we came out of it with 3 wins in total and only 1 loss, but a tough game against Ipswich is next up. However, we have taken top spot again in the championship, but look how close it is between the top 3, with just 2 points between all of us, and even the playoff spots aren't too far behind that. We've seen what a good run of wins can do already in this league. Argyle and Ipswich battled for the League 1 title last season, and it was no surprise this match was close, and after we equalised through Finn Azaz, the next goal was going to be crucial, and sadly, it came for the travelling tractor boys. Back to winning ways against the other promoted team Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough though. And from a 94th minute winner too. Definitely take that. It wasn't the strongest of months though, with a draw to Blackburn and an absolute tonking from Norwich, either side of a 3-0 win at home to Preston. And yet with 7 games to go, we're still holding on to that top spot with Bristol City in 3rd place, who we have to play next. With this very tight match finishing 1 apiece, with Jordan Houghton scoring a beautiful curling effort from outside the box. 3 late goals give us the win away to Rotherham after going a goal down to 10 men. Followed by an easy win, and surely we are flying at the top of the league right now. Well, not quite, because then we lost at home to Leicester 2-1. And then we lost away to Stoke at the Britannia, again by 2-1. And just like that, our season began to crumble, because we lost to Millwall, you guessed it, 2-1. Giving us a terrible run of form with just 1 game left, we go to Hull City at home. But a club who had a very different month was Leeds United, who won 6 from 6. And right when it mattered, ran away with the league and lifted the championship title with 1 game remaining, sitting us in 3rd place, a point of automatic promotion to the Premier League. Which, to put into context how big that is, Plymouth Argyle have never been in the top division. The final day showdown needed us to be better than Southampton's result to gain 2nd place with them away to the champions Leeds, while of course we host Hull City, who could still get relegated, so that's even more tricky. And with both games 0-0 at half-time, we had a huge calamity at the back, and Hull City struck first. Kester Hayden's great work down the left and cross somehow found Azaz though, who snuck in an equaliser, and it's game on. And a set piece swung in by Whittaker is bounced off the post, and Bundu puts in the rebound, and Argyle fans are overjoyed. And somehow, Leeds and Southampton stayed goalless for 90 minutes, and we held on to the 2-1 lead. And despite our terrible run recently, we managed to achieve automatic promotion into the Premier League, dropping Southampton into the playoffs, which they lost in the semi-final to Middlesbrough, who went on to Wembley to beat Ipswich 2-1 to join us and Leeds. Again, this is the alpha build of FM24, but the new ball movements and ricochets are fantastic and very realistic. A lot of the quality of life upgrades of the games is really good and very useful, and I'm definitely a fan of the new set piece system and seeing the new types of goals. I can't wait for the year ahead of this game cycle to tell you more stories on YouTube just like this one. And of course, big shout out to RDF for taking the time to create a tactic for Plymouth Argyle and helping us gain promotion. Go check out his alpha video as he takes a deeper look into the tactical side of the game, new roles, tweaks and movements on the pitch. Peace out.